Hat, check. Sunglasses, check. Notes, check. Pepsi, check. Sources, check. Thick skin, check. Oh, and one more thing. 10,000 subscribers, check. Let's go! Welcome back to Golden Blue Dude, everybody. If you are a die-hard college football fan, this is the channel for you, so go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We've already hit 10,000 subscribers, and we're just going to keep going. Yesterday, I put out a video where Florida State has been talking not only to the SEC, but they've also been talking to the Big Ten as well. And not just recently, since last summer. That's over a year. A lot of people said, well, how did you not know that, Golden Blue Dude? That was common knowledge. I guess I just didn't see the videos or the headlines that you saw. It was a genuine surprise to me. I also talked about how it could affect Miami. I kind of wanted to dive a little bit deeper into that. I think this is a Florida State and Miami situation. Does one get the SEC and the other get the Big Ten? Or do they both go to the same conference? Like I said yesterday, Florida State has been talking to the Big Ten and the SEC since last summer. Florida State said that they will be very aggressive in conference realignment, and this was after the announcement of the TV deal of the Big Ten that was signed recently. So this was said recently by Florida State. This wasn't said last year, and I'm just rehashing it. This was said most recently. Now, Miami fans, they're a little mad at the SEC right now because whenever USC and UCLA announced that they were going to the Big Ten, the SEC announced that they are going after Virginia, North Carolina, Florida State, and Clemson out of the ACC, trying to figure out those grant of rights. That's the one thing that has to get figured out if any of this happens. They showed interest in those 4 teams, and Miami wasn't on that list. Now, whenever I saw those 4 teams, I expected Miami to be on that list. I consider Miami to be one of the best brands in the ACC. They're in a hotbed of recruiting. They do bring in a lot of money. And the Ruiz brothers have announced that they want to build a stadium just for the Miami Hurricanes in Tropical Park. So I think their value is high. So it really stunned me that the SEC didn't list Miami in their first 4 teams. Now, that could be adjusted, and Miami does make the first 4. I mean, the SEC said that they had to have Florida State, they had to have Clemson, and they had to have North Carolina. And Virginia was just so that North Carolina could have a rival come in with them, because they're not going to bring in Duke, they're not going to bring in Wake Forest, and they're not going to bring in NC State. So Virginia was the obvious choice if you're going to bring in a rival of North Carolina. So the question remains, does Miami get the conference that Florida State leaves behind, whether it be the Big Ten or the SEC? I do know this, both Florida State and Miami are pursuing AAU status actively, and they're getting really close from what I'm hearing. Once they get AAU status, that bumps their value even higher for the Big Ten specifically. Now, where do both teams fit in the best? For Florida State, I actually think it's the SEC that they fit in the best. They actually get along with Florida. That's a big deal, especially being in the state of Florida. I think it's kind of necessary that you actually get along with Florida if you want to get into the SEC. I think Florida State has more of a Southern style when it comes to football. Let's not forget Jimbo Fisher. He's still in the SEC. So that would be a pretty good matchup between Florida State and Texas A&M as far as getting revenge on their former coach. And Jimbo Fisher is responsible for the shape that Florida State is in right now. Let's not forget about that. Yes, he won a national championship at Florida State, but those were with Bobby Bowden recruits, and he left Florida State in shambles whenever he went to Texas A&M. So you better believe that Florida State hasn't forgotten about that. I mean, they're still in shambles, so they most definitely haven't forgot about that. And they'd like to get some revenge on Jimbo Fisher. Oh, but going to Blue Dude, Jimbo Fisher recruits at an elite level. That's true, but he doesn't do much with it. I think Florida State, if they keep trending upward, could get in a position to where they could beat Texas A&M, especially at home. To me, Florida State just feels more SEC than they do the Big Ten, if that makes any sense. Because let's not forget, Florida State is right smack dab in the middle of SEC country. So in my personal humble opinion, I think Florida State fits in the SEC more than they do in the Big Ten. What about Miami? This might surprise you. I actually think that Miami fits in the Big Ten more than they do the SEC. First things first, the Big Ten has already shown that geography doesn't matter. So this goes both for Miami and Florida State. Miami does not get along with Florida. That's a big deal. But really, it's the other way around. Florida tries to avoid playing Miami, and this stems back to the Steve Spurrier era. So Miami and Florida, they really don't get along. That could play a factor as far as the SEC not wanting Miami. Maybe that's one of the reasons why Miami isn't on that list of the 4 teams that the SEC wants out of the ACC. One last thing is the SEC doesn't want to lose the SEC factor when recruiting in Miami. There's just a bunch of reasons why I think Miami fits better in the Big Ten over the SEC. But there's a third option. Florida State and Miami could go to either the Big Ten or the SEC together. I mean, it does make a lot of sense. They're both Florida schools. They could travel together. And Florida State and Miami, they actually do get along with each other. It's just that Florida State gets along with Florida and Miami does not get along with Florida. That's the SEC aspect whenever it comes to whether it's going to be Florida State or Miami to join the SEC. Now, if they were to join a conference together, there wouldn't be any issues because they actually do get along. And they have a lot of history together. Even before Miami joined the ACC, there was a lot of history and tradition between Florida State and Miami. I mean, we all remember all the wide rights that occurred in the Miami-Florida State college football series. I mean, they have a lot of great games, a lot of great history between the two whenever they've played each other. So as far as both of them joining a conference together, I think that makes a lot of sense. So to me, this all depends on whether the conference that one of these teams go to wants the other team to come with them. Now, with the Big Ten, I think with the Big Ten, it could be more likely that they could grab both Florida State and Miami. Because with the SEC, once again, Florida does not get along with Miami. So, if it were to happen that both of these teams do go to a conference together, it would be the Big Ten, not the SEC. Maybe that's one thing that could be working against the SEC as far as trying to get in Florida State from the ACC. That's something I didn't think about until this very video. So maybe that's one hurdle that the SEC is going to have to get over as far as bringing in Florida State. Maybe they might have to bring in Miami with Florida State in order to beat the Big Ten. Because I guarantee you, the SEC would rather have Florida State and Miami than the Big Ten get Florida State and Miami. So they're just going to have to get over the Florida factor and bring Miami in with Florida State. Otherwise, the SEC is at risk of not only getting Miami, but also not getting Florida State. And they do not want that to happen. Florida State is a very, very valuable brand. As valuable as Miami is, Florida State is actually the more valuable brand. They do bring in more money. They do have a larger fan base. They do have a larger alumni base. So the SEC definitely wants Florida State. They might have to swallow their pride. Or Florida might have to swallow their pride and bring in Miami with Florida State. You don't want both of those teams going to the Big Ten. That will only strengthen the Big Ten, and that is a big-time missed opportunity for the SEC. So y'all let me know in the comments section, what do you think has the best chance of happening? Florida State going to the Big Ten and Miami going to the SEC, or Florida State going to the SEC and Miami going to the Big Ten, or both Miami and Florida State going to the SEC, or Florida State and Miami going to the Big Ten. There's 4 choices. Which one do you think is most likely to happen? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.